and explicit, started attacking human rights, civil rights groups, civil society in Israel. The academy, primarily political scientists. I'm in trouble, I'm also a political scientist. Sociologists, artists, performers, anybody who doesn't agree with the official line. If it remained in the public space, you could say legitimate discussion. But during the past year, and in the past 6 months alone, it has been translated into anti-democratic legislation of the kind that no self-respecting democracy in the world can accept. And these include, yeah, you can clap. You can clap, but I speak Neto, not Buto. So any clapping is not on my 15 minutes. Okay? Among the legislation, a citizenship law that does not allow Palestinian citizens of Israel to fall in love with somebody outside of Israel, mostly in the West Bank, and live with them within Israel. A basic human right. Another law that will fine institutions that acknowledge the fact that there are two narratives of 1948 of the Nakba. Can you believe it? It is now an offense in Israel to call for a boycott, even of settlement products. If that is not a gross violation of freedom of speech, I don't know what is. And I can continue to list a series of really pernicious anti-democratic legislation that has either passed or will be passed, including attacks on the High Court of Israel. Those who are promoting the ultra-nationalist direction in Israeli politics see democracy as majority rule alone. And they will tell you, we are in power, we can pass legislation, and we will do so. This kind of approach comes with a very bullish attitude on security issues. And that's why the discussion here on Iran, for example, is a discussion that has been promoted to get people accustomed to the idea that Israel might attack Iran. Oh my God, what are we dealing with? There are not enough problems at the moment. Is this the only way to deal with a threat? It was discussed before, but I want to give you a sense of what is going on. And it is not just me, and it's not the New Israel Fund, and not just civil society in Israel. It is anybody who has the courage to think independently and to act differently. I was born in Israel before the creation of the state. This is the most anti-democratic moment that I remember in my entire life. On the one hand. And on the other hand, there is a democratic reawakening in Israel. Initially, when the attack started, people would send you emails in the middle of the night saying, "We're with you." But those who were silent when the first attacks came found themselves attacked the next day. And then there were fewer people who were silent. But those who were silent on the second range of attacks have begun to speak out. Israelis are fundamentally decent and democratic people. And it's taken a while for us to realize that the entire spirit of what the country is about is being undermined by people within the country. And therefore, the democratic reawakening is taking place. The most important manifestation of it was described in the previous panel. And that is the panel that mentioned the social protests this summer. These were protests against inequality and against social injustice and against the lack of compassion in Israeli society. At their height, and Yossi Yona didn't have enough time, so I will allow myself to speak for him for a minute. At its height, there were 450,000 Israelis in the street at the same time. That is 1 in 7 Israelis. 1 in 7 Israelis was out in the street on the same night. If you ask me what the concrete